What's up, you guys? Welcome to Fightful. I'm Ross Sapp. It's January 28th, 2026. I am back here in Kentucky. I feel like I haven't done a post show in a long time at this stage. I wasn't on Raw. Big thank you to Joel and Ricky Chino for helping me out there. I wasn't on last week's AEW Dynamite as I was preparing for a trip and all the things around it. And I don't think I was on last Monday's show either as we were preparing for the award show, but here we are, by God. But I gotta say, like, Alex looks much better since I've got back. Like, what happened?
Oh, goodness. You know, sometimes you just got to take off the baseball cap and you got
We didn't know there was all that beautiful hair underneath.
Who knew? I changed my graphic tee in for just a cozy sweater. Everything is a little different, but
we look forward to you changing into a homeless robot T-shirt that says "Hobo Cop" on it very soon. I'm sure that's next up on the itinerary. But what should be next up on the itinerary for our viewers? Leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and of course share this video. We would greatly appreciate it. This person says, "Don't care for me. Need Kate and Alex." Well, I'll tell you what you need. Timed out, you little.
Well, hold on. Listen, I didn't have as big of a problem with that chat as the rest of y'all did. You did spell Sean's name wrong, but other than that,
yeah, I mean, it's not like it's on screen. Not like it's on screen.
Well, I will say this. You get me and Alex on Tuesdays, and you get us behind the paywall a lot. So if you really like us, feel free to subscribe to Fightful Select because we'll be doing our Sands of Blind Royal Rumble edition this weekend.
So let's do a speed run of Fightful Select. Tonight I posted a special rundown of potential surprises, who isn't going to be there. Tomorrow, Wrestle Votes Radio, including all the stories that come from it. Friday, I'm doing a double, it's like a debunkathon and a Rumble Scoops thread. Then Saturday morning, also a Rumble Scoops thread. In addition to all the news that emerges from it, Kate mentioned the post-show podcast that they'll be doing there. I did my select exclusive predictions preview show. We talked about all the odds, every odd that's listed on my bookie. I talked about there, and I gave you some dark horses to win. We're going to have a whole lot more. I also did the first episode of SRS 10, talking AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, one of my favorite matches ever. Check that out over there. And not only that, Wrestle Votes hit me up last week and they said, "Hey, can we just do like a bunch of bonus shows?" And I said, "Hell yeah, let's do some bonus shows over on Fightful Select." So they got you taken care of as well. They are doing a great job there. Can't wait to see what scoops they have tomorrow. As I left your neck of the woods, actually, Kate.
You did.
Ish, but
would have visited you if it was possible to step outside my door without sinking 2 feet into snow.
It was just snow there. I helped dig a gentleman out, and he bought me pizza as a result. Dig him out of the snow, I should say. Pause. Anyway, I landed back in Kentucky after having 3 flights canceled and 2 rebooked. And then it's worse here. And it's not even close. We've got ice, snow, and then ice on top of the snow. It's horrible. It's bad.
What I've learned is also just like ill preparedness or lack of infrastructure in other parts of the country to handle such conditions. I grew up in upstate New York, which is like wants to be Canada. So like this kind of stuff was second nature to me, but like I'm only about 3 hours away from where my hometown was. It is very, very different still. But even for the East Coast, we got hit pretty hard. Like this wasn't our typical snow. This was pretty intense.
It was cool to immediately land in New York, turn it on Hot 97, and then my friend Kazim Famuyide was sitting there on the air. Shout out to him for the new Hot 97 gig. It was lovely to hear him. Radio is a lot better in New York. I'll say that much. A lot better.
There's a lot of really good talk radio too. I'm a New York sports fan, so like I'm spoiled, absolutely spoiled, including John Alba, who has been on here a number of times and is great. But we do get spoiled. It's the only thing keeping traditional radio alive around here.
I mean, all due respect to our great revolving hosts, including Chris Van Vliet today, who joined the hump.
Yes.
We would not have revolving guests right now if John Alba was free on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. because I would love to have him as the permanent guy. But get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. Speaking of the hump earlier with Chris Van Vliet, shout out to Circus Sports. I am so excited to go there. I was there last January, took a tour. Aaron showed me around. It was incredible. And they took care of Joel last year. I'm heading there myself this year for WrestleMania week. Denise has a live show. Chris Van Vliet has a live show. My friend Naomi has an art show that's going to be happening there. And I'm going to be on the scene, sending you all videos, photos, doing some interviews, like basically telling you guys what's going on there. If you are in Las Vegas, that is where I'll be. Please come say hi. I would appreciate that at Circus Sports. But we had a super chat left over from the hump. Said, I guess Ariel Helwani is too good for you guys, huh? Laughing emoji. I love Ariel Helwani personally. He's a buddy of mine, and I think the world of him. And he says, anyway, go Team Canada. I think USA has the advantage in net. AJ versus Shinsuke was as good as a nostalgia match you can get. What a banger. So, Kate, I watched Saturday night's main event while I was in New York, and I was so pumped up. I did a Fightful Select show just about that because of that match. Like, that was a hoot. When they ran back AJ and Nakamura, I'm like, why would you mess with that? Why would you do that? Then I watched it, and I was like, God damn.
Because it brought out that Shinsuke Nakamura and this AJ Styles. Yeah, this was maybe the best in years.
Surfboard in the ocean. He said to hell with it.
He put down the surfboard and picked up the wrestling boots for that one. So,
yes.
good stuff.
Also, Jambeard mentions R.I.P. Kim Wood. Many of you know who Kim Wood is from Dark Side of the Ring with Brian Pillman. Very outspoken gentleman who came to know Brian Pillman and was the first full-time strength coach in the NFL for the Cincinnati Bengals. R.I.P. to Kim Wood. Obviously, I'm a big Bengals fan, so this one hits me in the heart. But also, I'm a big Pillman guy. Like,
Sure.
Not only that, I knew Brian Jr. before he got into wrestling, just because he's local geographically. So shout out and a lot of love to them as well. Greg Cherry says, hi, Sean. Hi, Kate. Just listening while editing. But let's go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead and get, by the way, multi-time Fightful Award sponsor, Greg Cherry.
Yeah, big time this year. Also been dishing out gift subs in the chat on Tuesdays. I pivoted the chat against each other last Tuesday in a war to get gift subs because at the end of the day, I am a grifter. So
I mean, listen, we need them gifted for Select. You can do that now.
Bam, bam, bam. There you go.
By the way, guys, you can gift Fightful Select subscriptions. Please subscribe. But Jambeard is now a 32-month member, as it says. But he says, Psycho Killer Kate. Oh, boy, are we going to talk about that momentarily. But let's kick it off. Kenny Omega defeated Rocky Romero. Like, this was, like, sometimes you just need to see people do their cool shit on TV. And I like that. Obviously, Kenny knows he is not going to be a full-time wrestler again, but you know, he's going to wrestle Rocky Romero if he can. That's his buddy. Sure. They're always making trips to Japan together. But Romero posing for the camera and eating that knee to the head was glorious, Kate.
Man, I love Rocky Romero, and I feel like he's so versatile in what he does in the wrestling ring and helping out his opponents and looking great, and just with the many roles he plays in wrestling. So I just have so much respect for how selfless he is in the way that he just chooses to operate in wrestling. But this was so fun. And Sean, one thing I love is when they kick shows off with wrestling like this, there's an immediate urgency to me as the viewer of like, stuff's underway. Like, and sometimes they start with great promos and whatever, but like when we start with Kenny Omega versus Rocky Romero, even though I know what the outcome is going to be, there's just something of like, I want to be seated to watch it. I'm locked in at 8 o'clock, 8:01, instead of like kind of waiting for things to kick in. Like that hit me today. Like, cause I just was ready to sit down and watch some wrestling and it was off to the races. So I appreciated that, and yeah, I'm a Rocky stan. I love Rocky.
I tuned in at 8:01 and I was like, oh damn, they're already going. And that used to be like a WBD thing. Like they loved to get things going with action. So I was really happy to see that. Kenny Omega, of course, gets the win. I am so beyond ready, as excited as I am for him to be so proud of his Fightful awards. I am so ready for Don Callis and Kenny Omega to end. Like, I don't know what it is that they have to be tied to one another. But obviously, listen, considering the nature of the upcoming match that we'll discuss later, I'm just like, damn, does that need to keep happening? But Hangman also interrupted and Omega chased Callis. What did you think of Hangman's integration here and just the general continuation of Callis and Omega?
I don't have a problem with it continuing if they're going to be men and put the damn Fightful awards on the line. I want to see those awards in the ring presented. They have enough belts. We don't need more belts. What we need is Fightful awards on the line. This is kind of the catch-22 of the Don Callis family being both A, so large, and B, so prominently featured. Is it's like, if you're going to run through this whole stable, that's going to take, I don't know, 6-7 months. So I'm with you on it feeling long in the tooth. I love Hangman's integration, and I love the conversation of, man, I would really rather be alongside you than fight you again, because that was that was a tough thing for me. But you know, I just as I sit here wonder, like, am I doing a good enough job speaking on behalf of the person that's usually here? And if I could just summon, oh my God.
I just flew in from Disneyland, and boy, are my ears tired.
You flew in with your ears?
Yeah, as is customary. I mean, I thought.
We can't see him, but he's wearing a Carl of Duty Black Cops shirt right now.
Yes.
Alexi looks very excited you're back. I'm
Yeah,
pumped.
he's been running around like crazy. He's on a sugar high.
I'm sure.
He's all catatonic.
Hi, Alex. How was Disney?
It's good. It's pretty good. Just thought I'd show up.
Well, okay.
I admire that you don't even have your mic hooked up, though.
Oh no! Why does it do this to me?
Just
fight you. One LT photo says at least use the Fightful awards as weapons. Yeah, I mean, listen, those are really heavy duty. Like they're dangerous. They're dangerous. But also is John Moxley. He's a dangerous man. He faced Ace Austin. Ace Austin, who I've believed is like a TV star for quite some time. I couldn't believe that TNA didn't make a big, I can't say they didn't make a big play to keep them. They did try to keep them, but when you're trying to compete with AEW money, you're not going to be able to compete with that if you're TNA. They ended up getting a 10-minute match here. Ace Austin was supposed to wrestle on Collision, but it got canceled due to weather. And John Moxley ends up winning this. But Ace Austin got a lot in this match, Kate.
Yeah, I like how Ace Austin has kind of entered the fold here. Like, he feels different than he did from what I saw in TNA. There's a little bit more intensity and a little bit more groundedness in this version of him. I feel like in TNA it was a little bit showier and a little more playful. And I just I don't know if I like goofy things just interrupting my program. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I like just goofy stuff. I'm extremely serious on all my post shows, but
nobody wants that.
I really, really liked this match. Like, I feel like John Moxley is just so much better suited as a face. And this pivot with the Death Riders it's kind of working for me. I'm giving it some breathing room. But I liked this match a lot today. And I like Ace Austin getting used in this spot because I think it's a valuable way to kind of continue things. But I just like that we're getting away from any flashier, goofier things on any wrestling related type content.
That's right.
Shout out to Greg Cherry for gifting 5 memberships. You can get a lot of archived content, a lot of stuff that we didn't put out to the public there as well. Some early access content as well. Alex, any thoughts, particularly on the John Moxley match, or even Kenny Omega beating Rocky Romero?
Isn't Kenny great? It's so great to see him
Yes.
back and doing awesome stuff. I loved one of my favorite things on Dynamite in a long time is Rocky Romero doing the knee slide and the shimmy, not realizing he's about to get kneed in the back of the head.
It was incredible.
That was great. Ace Austin has never skipped leg day. He does leg day when it's arm day. That man has thighs for days.
He looks like he's allergic to bees and just coated his thighs in honey.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And said, let's see about it. Let's figure out what's going to happen here. And they just
Ace Austin is one of those dudes who is like, the thing about AEW is the roster is so incredibly deep that a guy like Ace Austin is in this spot, and he's a souped up enhancement talent. But if they decided to like push the button on him, he could be a TNT champion in 3 weeks because he's that talented and he would make you believe all of it. And I really hope that he gets a shot to be that upper mid card, like if not future mid card champion, future perpetual mid card challenger. This was a lot of fun. Moxley is really winning me over as the guy who he doesn't have no scruples. He's got like a scruple. He's got like a scruple and a half, and he's willing to use it when it suits him. But I like that he's kind of just doing what he feels is right in the moment. And I think that leads to what could be literally anything. Like that's kind of the Death Riders now are very open-ended. It's good.
Yeah. We also had Takeshita show up, but then Doyle and Davis attack. So, I mean, listen, first off, far too many singles titles in this company. Don't need it. But I did like the showcase of Davis and Doyle here, but some unfortunate news to emerge from that soon. But here's some good news from my bookie AG. Use the code FIGHTFUL, get a great bet back bonus. We only want you to bet what you can, and please bet responsibly. Use our code. Alex, I want you specifically to react to some of the betting odds.
Oh, please.
Tonight. As of now, The Miz has the same betting odds to win the Royal Rumble as Andrade El Idolo.
Well, I would be equally shocked if either of those things happened.
There you go. The Rock has better odds to win the Rumble than Trick Williams.
I mean, I like Trick a lot, but I believe that.
Today, Karrion Kross had the same odds as Logan Paul, and since we published it, he moved ahead of Logan Paul.
Well, I mean, sure. Yes, I agree with those odds.
Roman Reigns is the current odds-on favorite. There are two people tied for second, one of which is Braun Breaker, the other of which is Gunther, who is facing AJ Styles on the show. What does Vegas know?
Vegas doesn't watch the product?
Good. I mean, listen, if people want to put that money down, sure. Mi Chin is actually listed by her real name, Mia Yim. She did not travel to Saudi Arabia, but she still has better odds than Maxine Dupree, of which I say BS.
Mia Yim didn't travel, but maybe Mi Chin didn't travel, maybe Mia Yim did. Like
either way, if you all think that these odds are so predictable, head over to MyBookie AG. Use that code FIGHTFUL and sign up. Link in the description below. Jambeard says, hear me out. If Macklin is the one to be fired by TNA, have him be the one to beat Bandito for the ROH title. Then Bandito moves up full-time to AEW. Kate, the infantry has told me multiple times that they would love to have Steve Macklin as a part of their group. Like, they would love that. I think that Steve Macklin is the kind of guy you get, not just as a wrestler for your future, but you want that guy to be an agent in the future as well. Like, I think that would be like, he's very, very, he's so studious. But anybody, who do you think could be next?
Next to debut in AEW?
Yeah.
Oh man. That's an excellent question. Looking at whose contracts are up, there is a big Australia show. If the Iconics were going to be in AEW, they could debut there. I also do love the idea of them joining the culling because Sean Spears just stands like this. And I feel like Billy Kay applying for a job with the culling would be hilarious. But I think that's a possible one. I'm more
wherever the Iconics show up, somebody needs to find an application somewhere under a pile of papers and be like,
yes.
What?
100%. And then she has to mosh again, once again.
Yes.
They're an interesting one because I could see them, like, there's such an emphasis in WWE right now on the women's tag division. I could see them showing up there. But we do have this Australia show coming up. So if they are going to show up, I feel like it would be there. I'm kind of more intrigued to see, like, if any NXT talent get picked up, like if their contracts run up and maybe, you know, from a pay scale standpoint, AEW can pluck some of them. Like what they did with Zeta Steel, for example, I think is interesting. Like maybe there's some more sleepers because you're the contract news guy. For me, if they're going to take this trios division seriously, I want to see the War Dogs at AEW. Let's go. Let's get Gabe Kidd. Let's get Drill. Let's get that group over.
So, speaking of the Australia show, shout out to our friends at Down Under the Ring and Fid McAwesome, who had an interview with MJF. They contributed to us as well. Terry Allen Jr. says, does WWE Raw have creative meetings Monday morning? I don't think Monday mornings. I think they have them like throughout the week and the weekend, though. But I don't believe it's in the mornings. Usually it's a couple days ahead of the show. Shadow X says AEW was delicious tonight. Sounds like a Meet Normus post, honestly. But we did get a very tasty match. Mark Briscoe defeating El Clone. A lot of people were not familiar with El Clone's game in AEW, especially if they only watch AEW. Like, it's been such a snake-bitten run for El Clone. But there was this chair that got brought into the ring, and then he flipped on it and then threw it. But he kicked out of the Froggy Bow, and his counter to the J Driller was incredible. He just hit a handstand and popped himself up. And I was like, oh my God. Alex, I see you. You're beside yourself. I couldn't believe what I saw with my eyes.
Yeah. I don't know why you would waste a spot like that on a match in which you're going to get rolled up and lose. Like that's the spot that gets you the victory. You know what I mean? Like, nobody kicks out of the J Driller. You don't have to. You did this thing to it, and then you hit you finisher and you won. Like, that to me feels like, not that I'm saying that, like, yes, everybody knows Mark Briscoe's not my favorite. I didn't expect him to lose, but when that move hit, I was like, maybe they're gonna do it, because it didn't make a lot of sense to like waste that in a match where you just 20 seconds later get rolled up and lose.
I don't see it as a waste because I don't know how many times that guy's going to get hit with a pile driver in AEW. He's probably wrestling luchas.
I guess that's true.
Now, and I don't think it'd be possible for him to do it out of a Mexican destroyer, honestly. I think maybe that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Jane Beard says, Luis countering the J Driller popped me big.
Yeah.
Kate, I thought that El Clone had a really great showing tonight. Like, this was very, very good.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Luis in this capacity as much as I am with him, like in his work at Fightful. But this was really, really cool to see. And it's also just nice to get to see him wrestle in a match of importance too. It was such cool creative that got halted by these injuries. And I'm glad to see him there. But I always appreciate when there's stuff that is so creative. I can't recall having ever seen it before. And that's one of those spots. I don't think I've ever seen anybody counter the Jay Driller with anything close like that. So he was super, super fun. They have this good well of lucha wrestlers, and they were in Texas tonight, I believe. So the lucha crowd is always very over there specifically. But man, I was like, this was a really fun match. And then what was to come? Oh my goodness.
So, Bill Alphabet says Luis glitching out of the Jay Driller was amazing. Indeed. But then Mark Briscoe, after winning, says that he wants to make an open challenge for the TNT title. And he specifically rules out the Don Callis family. Lights go off. And I would say about 2 minutes before this happened, I'm told something's about to happen. And I go, what? And I even mentioned it in our live Discord. I was like, guys, something's about to happen. I did not know what it was, but I was told something was going to happen. Boy, did something ever happen. Tommaso Ciampa, literally a day or two after his WWE contract expires, has jumped to AEW. He has signed with AEW. He has an incredible Mikey Ruckus theme, which also has some lyrics. Yes. And this is in replacing No One Will Survive, obviously, which is good. But like, then he kisses Mark Briscoe.
They kiss.
They kissed. Alex, Queen of the Ring, didn't even watch the show tonight after begging for people to kiss. And they kissed. Kate, how are you feeling about this?
Man, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. First of all, there were a couple things that cracked me up with the Callis family today. The first was Mark Briscoe being like, I'm done with y'all. And then later in the show, Don Callis says, we were in recruitment mode and now we're in like stabilization. But I was like, okay, so they're saying we're done recruiting and also Mark Briscoe is done with these guys. What an incoming presentation for Tommaso Ciampa. The lighting, the Titantron, his theme is just fantastic. And I love when a wrestler or any performer is just like in sync with it, every single note that they play. And he just looked like so present with this new theme. And shout out to Mark Briscoe too, because he looked like he saw a ghost. And shout out to ROH YouTube because they were uploading all these Tommaso Ciampa matches. Interesting that you can.
They're running Best of Ciampa right now. Sorry to cut you off. They're running Best of Ciampa right now, according to Tom LaValle.
Awesome.
It was such a great incoming presentation. One thing AEW, in my opinion, improved on so much in 2025 was intentionality with how they bring wrestlers in. I'm glad to see that continuing. We've had so many debuts over the past few weeks. Tommaso Ciampa walking into the title picture off an open challenge from Mark Briscoe. There's already built-in history there. This AEW audience is going to be all over that. Alex, Queen of the Ring, many of the girlies are always rooting for the kiss. We got one. It was on the cheek, but we'll take what we can get. I just love when, if you aren't a weird tribalist, this is so exciting and so fun and so refreshing because getting to see Tommaso Ciampa wrestle in this environment, to me, absolutely rules. Getting to see Jade Cargill in WWE, that feels like a match. So everybody's just like on dating app swiping with each other where they want to work. And it's so fun to get to see all these wrestlers in different environments. We didn't have that for so long. In the entirety of my wrestling fandom from 2009, really till now. So I think he's just a fantastic wrestler. I'm so excited to get him to see this like refreshed version of him. And oh boy, that theme was awesome. That'll be going on the playlist.
And I mean, very clearly, the Ciampa kiss to Mark Briscoe is their answer to the success of Heated Rivalry. Very, very clearly.
Very
but
obviously, yes.
I mean, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Ciampa's ROH run, but I've often spoke about how his write-off was one of my favorite angles in wrestling history. Alex, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but he got in trouble for attacking referees, and he was told, if you do this again, if you even accidentally make contact with a referee, you are fired. You lose your job. You lose your livelihood. And it was such a great angle because it's one that he could conduct all of his own, and it affected his matches. It gave him an excuse to lose because he would go to run into a referee on accident and it would cost him the match. And then his last night there, everybody knew he was leaving for WWE. He loses his match, and then he beats the absolute dog shit out of Todd Sinclair. I mean, just beats the shit out of him. It was amazing. It was perfect. It was just outstanding. And C. Delgado says, does this mean Ciampa isn't in the Rumble? In fact, he is not going to be in the Rumble, but probably has higher odds than The Miz. Alex, how'd you feel
well,
about
he should. Listen, I've been a Ciampa guy for a very long time. He sold me so many tickets. Just as to his presence on screen as a performer over the years, like in the Cruiserweight Classic almost 10 damn years ago, he and Gargano met in the tournament, and he was going to win. All he had to do was take the knee pad down and hit Gargano, his best friend and tag partner, and crush his skull with his knee, and he would have won. And then he's like, no, I can't do it. So he goes in to try and like pick him up to like not kill him. And Gargano like does this cool crucifix and pins him. And Ciampa is distraught. He knows he screwed himself over, but like he and Gargano hug afterwards. Is this really cool moment. But he never fully trusted Gargano after that point. He always kind of blamed Gargano, and you could see it in his eyes. And when he turned on him, like the following March, like it was like this whole thing, like he'd been playing this whole. He's a really great performer, and nobody grows a beard. Like that dude was clean shaven 7 minutes ago, and now it's all scraggly. That is a hirsute man. He's very hirsute. Hirsute. Look it up.
Mod Revolve says, is TK stocking up on talent for a third show? I mean, he did just have quite a few people have their deals up, but I mean, it certainly seems like they're adding for something. I don't know what that could be at this stage.
A third show.
I don't. Hopefully, not a third AEW show. They don't need a third AEW show.
Do something with ROH, man. I'm telling you.
Yes,
but
I agree. They should run a Ciampa angle, return angle in ROH, where the refs have a meeting about how to approach him. I agree. I think that should be a thing. I think that they should really play off of the history of which they have. We've got lots more super chats and humper chats. Anthony says, I know it won't happen, but they should have Ciampa win the title Saturday. Says who? Who says it won't happen? It might.
Who says it won't happen? I mean, like, if you're going to debut him in the match, there's got to be a major angle if he loses.
Yeah.
You debut him and he wins, like that makes a lot of sense to me. And then all of a sudden it's off to the races. You could easily have somebody from, I don't want this to continue. Please tell, I don't want it to continue. But you could easily have somebody from the Don Callis family say, you say you're done with us. Well, we're not done with you. We don't need that title. We're going to take you out. That's a thing Don Callis might do out of spite. So that's an easy way of getting Ciampa the win and protecting Mark Briscoe. But I say just let Ciampa win clean. Like let him debut and announce his presence with authority.
I mean, look at the immediate impact that Andrade winning tonight had. Like immediately. We've got Anthony saying, with Ciampa debuting tonight, what are the odds of Masha Slamovic and Killer Kelly showing up in AEW? Good stuff, Sean and Kate. Masha, close to about 5%, and I would be shocked if I'm being very generous there. Killer Kelly, I think that there's probably a much more significant chance of that. even if it's her doing extra work and then a tiered deal and then eventually on something and then ROH. I think she's the type of talent that eventually they'll be like, hey, you're here. Or do you have your gear with you? And she'll go, yeah, I do have of course I have my gear with me. And then she'll end up wrestling. That's what I think ends up happening. And then they'll go, oh, we should probably get her for our tag division. And, honestly, turning the triangle of madness into a square of madness could happen.
Quadrilateral
of madness. Perhaps a rhombus of rage or something like that. Fitzgerald says, Tony trying to get me to watch Collision again. Ciampa versus Briscoe, Crew versus Rascals, Darby versus Clark Connors. I might not need a blue chew. Well, Clark Connors is particularly interesting because his deal is up pretty soon. And I really didn't think that they were going to sign a lot of the people that they signed. And I don't think they're done, guys. I do not think they're done.
Sean, whatever is there worlds where Ciampa's leading a faction, like say because they don't have people win off the bat a lot? Like, do you think they're trying to rebuild this trios division and it's like Ciampa and he has two guys with him? I don't know who those two guys are, but
he's the fourth rascal.
He fits in with that group for sure.
He's the fourth rascal for sure. Yeah. I think there's a possibility. I don't know who would fit with him, but
I know that kind of said solo star tonight, though. I will say, like that feels like imminent champion a little bit.
The crowd was super pumped to see him. Mm-hmm. Like people were losing their minds. Like nobody knew who it was, and then Psycho goes over there, and then Killer, and the crowd lost it. Like that's a really cool thing for him too, because I think that there's a lot of there was a lot of potential with him. Like, and in the Triple H regime, because he utilized him so well in NXT, but never really found his footing a lot in WWE on the main roster. And it's possible that a lot of people forgot how great he was. And you can't, because he just hits everybody so hard with all the parts of his body. He's just really great, and I love watching him.
Ian Simmons says, I'm so serious when I say that TK should have Ciampa win on Saturday and have this be the TNT title feud, and Mark Briscoe, a great story. Yeah, I mean, it would be... I'm interested in how they would follow it up immediately if Ciampa won, and I'm okay with Ciampa winning it.
Yeah. So, Sean, did you say like a couple of days ago his contract expired with... So they were originally going to do El Clon versus Briscoe this past Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would he have been available to come out right after that match?
I don't believe so.
Wow.
I think it's kind of fortuitous that they moved it, because it's a perfect spot for him to debut. Coming out with a history he's got with Briscoe being like, anybody but any of you guys, anybody else come out, and it's Ciampa. That's a really good spot.
Listen, there's a super chat about this, but we're talking about who could fit with him. Butcher and the Blade could fit with him pretty well.
Ooh.
And this person says Blade's going to have to change his image. Him and Ciampa look hella similar. Only difference is the beard. Or don't, and just put them together.
Today's presentation felt very single starry. It to me, like you put that kind of effort into a guy, it looks like he's going to be on his own. I would love for him to come in and win the title. They don't do that a lot, but I don't think Mark Briscoe loses a lot by losing to Tommaso Ciampa. Like it's not like, oh, his title reign got so stunted, because I don't think he was in it for the super long haul anyway. But man, him with Butcher and Blade sounds like a lot of fun.
The Butcher, the Blade, and the Black Heart. It's right there.
There you go.
Anthony Velasquez says, awesome Ciampa is in AEW. Such a big fan of his heel run in NXT. Some of the best stuff I've seen in NXT. Hope big things are coming his way. Wasn't a fan of how he was used in the main roster of WWE. I loved him and Johnny as a team. Like, I love that. It's just the whole tag team division is here's a good match, no story. Very, very little. And in fact, Johnny has done his own stories on social media better as he's impersonating Axiom and just being a nuisance backstage.
Yeah.
Josh D from Connecticut says, these MF spittin'. My love for Fightful is shaped like a rhombus. Ciampa dream matches. As a Northeast non-tribalist, I love, and always will follow Ciampa. Listen, I like Ciampa. I've never had like Ciampa dream matches, so to speak, but like there is a whole crew of talent. I want to see him face like Jack Perry for the first time. I've never seen anything like that where he's facing someone so much smaller than him that we can see different offense out of him. That's one that I would like to see.
There's just, I don't like at this point, we don't know exact if he's heel or just a badass. So like, there's a lot of options for, if he wins, I would love him to actually do the open challenge and get as many different guys to face him as possible. Like pull a Dragunov and like bring out the absolute best in everybody who comes down to the ring versus you for like 2 straight months on every episode of Collision. Get it done. It'd be great.
This is kind of a like deeper cut in a way, but like him versus someone like Wheeler Yuta, I want to see. Like I want to see those styles kind of collide a little bit. Chad is saying like him versus Fletcher. I would love to see that, but I also want to see like Ciampa versus Leo Rush. Like I want to see him mix it up with guys like that.
He also bumps so great for big dudes. Like him versus Brody King would be amazing. Like I remember him versus like really big dudes and just him bumping all over the place, but never staying down. He's good.
My Ciampa dream match is in New Japan. I want to see him versus Despy, actually. But it is what it is.
How long do we have to wait for DIY, says 1LT Photos, a sponsor of the Fightful Awards. TBD. I'm trying to figure that out. Dante V says, our truth is probably saying, I can't believe Triple H made the jump to AEW.
Alex's favorite bit of all time. Dream.
Yeah. Mikey V says they should run a Ciampa return. We actually read that one. Luis!
Look, he had
focus
to wrestle for
on the super chat,
title.
Luis, not fighting Mark Briscoe.
Listen, he had a great match today. That creative counter to the Jade Driller.
Ciampa could take Priest and Billington under his wing. Yeah, could. Priest is not signed, though, I don't think. So. Jambeard says, I really like how TK last year learned to sign great quality depth people instead of going for big names, and that's continuing with this year's signings. Yes. Like there haven't, like Andrade, maybe he could, like if something blows up with him, he could be a upper tier guy, especially after tonight. But like Ciampa is not a guy that we expect to become an AEW world champion. Like it's just not the spot he's going to be in. And we understand that. And this is a good depth hire. Sabrina says, my dream is Bailey All Elite. What % chance do I got? I will not put it anywhere less than 20% right now. I think there's a real possibility that she could do that. I think that she is in her, I want to work with new people and do cool things era. And I think there's a possibility.
Yeah.
Lupongi Vice says, with Grand Slam shaping up, what matches do you lovely Durangos expect to be on the card? I'm genuinely so bloody excited. I could see the Inspiration coming in and competing for the tag titles. Obviously Tony in some sort of important match. Kyle Fletcher should get an international title shot on that show against Okada. That's what should end up happening.
That should happen.
Babes of Wrath probably to get Harley on there versus Megan and Penelope.
Yep. Miss Omega fan says, hi, Sean. First time doing this. Well, thank you so much for humper chatting. Love the show. Omega looked so good. Thekla is a star. Ciampa and AEW is a good thing. God, I love pro wrestling. Well, Omega just being on the show adds a lot, right? It adds an innate star quality. Thekla is one of those people that as soon as she came over, I was like, yeah, she's made for America. Like, she made her name in Japan, but she is made for America. And Ciampa making that jump, I do think is also a good move for him as well. There's always ways that AEW could better use their roster, but they're loading up for something. If they're just doing it just to do it, I don't know what's going on here. Wheelchair Hulk says, New Japan had the golden lovers. AEW has the bearded lovers. Clever. Well, we did have Okada backstage with Kyle Fletcher, and he apologizes to Kyle. He goes, I didn't mean to screw you over. I just wanted to win really badly. I'm sorry. There's no bitch to be found. Kyle Fletcher accepts the apology, Kate, and the crowd cheered it. The crowd loved them making up.
I think they thought they were going to get 2 kisses and basically back-to-back segments. That's what I think happened here. But I laughed out loud when Don Callis was like, we have recruited enough people. He also gave Kyle Fletcher the by God name, which felt very intentional. Like that just felt rude to do to Kenny.
Yes.
But this was very fun. Takeshita was also there, not accepting that this was the case. He was just like, you forgave Okada? And Kyle was like, well, yeah, it felt very scorned lover. It was well done. Kyle Fletcher is so good at everything in wrestling, it feels like, but like an underrated part of his game is little things like this. And something that I feel like, as someone who didn't watch in the Attitude Era and constantly has the Attitude Era shoved down their throat, I try so hard to be cognizant of that with fans who are becoming fans now and a younger group. And Kyle Fletcher is like very Gen Z coded. Like he is a Gen Z guy champion. He has no problem wearing pink. He's like, his Twitter game is unreal. He has no problem being like flirty with other guys on the show and online. Like he's very much like of a whole new wave of fans guy, I feel like. And it even shows up in segments like this. I feel like there's just certain like mannerisms he has where it's just kind of a refreshing wave of fans that are younger than us and like underneath us age-wise to kind of latch onto. And I just think that's more important than maybe we're realizing with a company that's also so young. So that was just something I noticed today in the way that he presents himself on screen a little bit.
Takeshita is pissed about this. He's not happy. He don't want to see it. This is eventually, Alex, this is going to lead to perhaps one of the greatest triple threat matches of all time, I would imagine.
Yeah. yeah. You can do that whenever. If you want to do that on Saturday for a surprise match on Collision, I'd watch it. It is one of those things where I think I'm much more likely to see it at the rate that Tony Khan sometimes holds things. Tony Khan, just he is tantric with his storytelling sometimes. Like we just want give the thing to us, and he's like, no, you don't get it yet. You don't get it yet. I'm like, I don't want to wait until Double or Nothing. Can we get? And I feel like I might have to wait for Full Gear. Like that's how long sometimes he takes to tell these stories. You could do it whenever. I'm ready for it now. That's all I'm saying.
Lightning Gollum says, how long does Johnny and Candace have on their contracts? I'd love to see both of them in AEW. I'm working on it. I'm seeing what I can find out. I don't have that answer yet, but you would imagine their deals are similar, but maybe not. Maybe Johnny said, you know what? I'm gonna re-up. I'm gonna stick around. Eloquent says, any update on Queen Aminata? Miss her on TV. They didn't think that she would be out this long, but she's spoken about her injury a little bit and said that she's basically keeping tabs of who reached out and who didn't. But now she's missed 3 months, and I know they want to get her back very soon.
She did also say, I'm not messing around with my neck, which I thought was responsible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Loft Dante says, honest to God, I need the War Raiders to come to AEW or back to New Japan. Thekla needs to bring her other DDT finisher to AEW if you've seen it. Yeah, I would like that as well. But let's talk about Thekla right now. Had a solid match with Kris Statlander. Really enjoyed it. They both brought a lot of physicality here. I loved the bridge when the discus lariat got thrown, the matrix hold, the spider hold that Thekla did. Yeah. Then a big power bomb, and last night Fever win it for Kris Statlander. The match itself, Alex, anything stand out?
I mean, it was very good. It was very good. I went into this thinking, I don't know. This to me reminds me a lot of what I felt they were doing with Megan Bayne before her match with Toni Storm, where they were pushing her so hard, and it seemed like the appetite was there from the fan base for a don't stop the momentum of this person. You've been pushing them so hard. We're all on board. Let's just go. Have her become the champion, and you make a brand new star. And a lot of what I was seeing with Thekla was similar to that, which was like, you've been pushing Thekla. We all think she's amazing. We don't necessarily want Stat to lose the title, but if you're gonna do this match, it feels weird to have Thekla just come up short. Because as a babyface, you can come up short and keep trudging up that mountain, and eventually you'll chase the heel champion and become the champ yourself. As a heel, it just feels like, okay, I lost fair and square, and now I'm going to attack them backstage probably and get a rematch out of it. And that makes Thekla into somebody that I don't respect as much, because I love what Tekla's been doing. I don't think this was the right time to do the match, but they did it, and Thekla lost because they've still got more story to tell with Stat. I just need Thekla to not feel like an afterthought in 2 months. I need her to be still at the level she is now, if not somehow higher.
Kate, any thoughts on this?
I think Thekla, you've said it a million times, like has translated so well to American television. But I think also maybe what got lost is she, I think, looks better in the ring as well. I think just the consistent reps on a regular basis, a little bit more. I feel like she looks great in there. Women's World Title match, not closing the show, not opening the show, being at the 9 o'clock slot sucks, especially when it's the only match on the show. They've gone so far out of their way to make this feel unimportant, and it's unfair. I do love that we've gotten so many things that have played out from the women's blood and guts match, because the build going into it was very strong, and we're still feeling the ramifications of it all over the place here with Thekla and Kris. With the Golden Lovers versus Bane and Penelope. And I just appreciate that in a match that feels so much like a blow off, the fallout of it is still very present on the show and has driven a lot of things forward. This centralizing every championship you have for the women into one picture sucks. They have 9 million men's championships that are taking up TV time all over the place. They've got to just do better. And we can say till we're blue in the face, but to also put it on 9 o'clock, I'm like, come on. Kenny Omega and Rocky Romero could have maybe chilled out for a minute while the women's world title opened, at least. Not great.
Megan Bain stood at the top of the ramp post-match, so it looks like that's the program that we get next.
Yeah, the stipulation, I like the stipulation of Sisters of Sin. If you promise not to come down and mess around during the match, we, the Babes of Wrath, will grant you a title shot. And when you do a stipulation like that, and then the heels uphold their end of the bargain, to me, that is a cool moment of the baby faces got themselves into this with their own stipulation. And that helped their friend Stat retain. But then if they go on to lose because of that stipulation, then all of a sudden there's some tension there, and then that opens up avenues for storytelling. If they just have another match with Sisters of Sin and win, and then go on to face somebody else, the stipulation doesn't mean anything. And I feel like we shouldn't be doing story beats that don't mean anything. That's my thing.
Fitzgerald says, can you see Buddy Matthews returning at Grand Slam? I mean, that would be very nice if that happened.
It would be wonderful if you could.
I haven't heard anything resembling that. It seemed like he had a ways to go.
I mean, if Brody King gets his title match versus MJF in Australia, could Buddy show up afterwards to like, Brody, it's okay, you lost. I'm here. I love you, buddy. I don't know, something like that. I don't know.
And then turn on him? That would be cool.
That'd be kind of cool.
Dante says Thekla and Stat should have main evented and Thekla should have won. Yeah, I don't think that you had to have that MJF thing happen at the end, but I understand why they wanted the cliffhanger there, as opposed to just Megan Bain confronting on the ramp to end the show. But No Gimmicks says, would love to see Ciampa with the Ops. Thekla versus Mercedes has to happen at some point. Again, everything about Ciampa tonight felt like he wasn't going to be, certainly wasn't going to play second fiddle. But then again, Samoa Joe's hurt. So maybe
Samoa Joe's hurt and Hobbs is gone.
Yeah.
They need a third guy.
And they do always say, next up, who's up? Like, if somebody's hurt, somebody else is coming and taking your spot. Definitely could. We'll have some news on Hobbs on FightfulSelect.com. C. Delgado says, are we sure that Megan and Penelope aren't winning the tag belts? That's also a possibility.
Yeah, I think that's a very real possibility. I would love to see that.
Ricochet and The Demand beat up Jack Perry backstage. And then we get FTR defeating Davis and Doyle. And unfortunately, what everybody is talking about, Meat Norma saying, more injured Meat makes me sad. Get well, Doyle. Jambeard says Jake Doyle was hurt on cam, saying he thought he hurt his pec. In the updates, he said he thought he hurt his bicep. Paul, not Paul, says, is it me or was D&D something of an obvious name for Davis and Doyle? Well, you can't do D&D because you're brand confusion there. Did Jake get hurt or realize he parked in a no parking zone? Well, I don't want to make light of that. It seems like Jake Doyle said he tore his biceps, and he wasn't involved at all with the end of the match, which was the Death Riders coming out and cracking Mark Davis with a title belt into the Shatter Machine. And then Stokely on the microphone saying, always loved John Moxley. Great guy. And I do love that he's leaning into that. But the unfortunate situation here, Alex, Jake Doyle tearing his bicep. That we presume, based on his own quote.
Yeah. Jake Doyle. Okay. Doyle and Davis, perfect name, perfect look. They were doing great. Like they had that the first match that they won was amazing. The match they had versus Busta and the Brain, whatever they're Oliver and Price was great on Collision. They looked really good in this thing. Like they were overpowering FTR. FTR was bumping all over the place for them. I was literally watching this thing and going, they're not winning tonight, but you got to put the gold on these guys in 2026 at some point. They're so good together. And what a cool mountain for babyface teams to climb, to come after the Rascals coming after these guys. Like, that's really cool. And I'm watching it, and I swear to God, 15 seconds after I said that to myself, I saw him take the DDT on the apron while grabbing the top rope with his offhand. And when it came down, there wasn't enough room and it pulled wrong. And he immediately was like, no, that's it. He told Cash, I'm done. And he left. And I was like, this is so bad. For Doyle, obviously, to get injured like that right after being signed and getting this really cool moment against FTR. That's really bad, obviously. I don't want to put that, take that out of perspective. However, Mark Davis, this poor guy, he was there with Kyle Fletcher. He gets hurt while he's out. Kyle Fletcher takes off to the stratosphere as a singles competitor. Davis, what are we going to do with Davis? We just signed Jake something. His name's Doyle. You're Doyle and Davis. We'll put you in matching black trunks. You'll beat the crap out of people. And everyone's like, this looks like a lot of fun. This guy with a goofy hat on and floppy ears says, you guys should win the tag titles. And then his new tag partner gets injured. And now what do you do with Davis as well? What do you do with Doyle? Because he's hurt. What do you do with Davis? Because now he's just a guy without a tag partner again.
It's unfortunate, Kate. And I also hate that this overshadows another good FTR match where they're working really hard as tag champions when given the opportunity, which is not nearly enough to wrestle as these tag champs.
Yeah, the injury is just such an unfortunate situation for Jake Doyle. Also, poor Mark Davis has got to feel like FTR's got it out for him because that's where he broke his wrist in an Aussie Open versus FTR match in Seattle, I believe. So just brutal, especially like the Australia show is coming up. That's a heartbreaker. And FTR is, I don't want to say quietly doing great work, but it's a little bit quieter than maybe like the monster run that we saw from them with 7-star FTR and all those things. Because they're really going out of their way, it feels like, to help some of these newer teams along as they've been trying to reset this tag division. And they've been just putting on great matches. Even the 5-minute match with Price and Oliver they let them get a ton of offense in. Like, I've really enjoyed this run, and I feel like Stokely adds so much. Like, the balance of humor and manipulative politician all coalescing has been great. You get the funny website where you're redirected to buy his t-shirt, and you get the more serious way of him playing chess throughout it. So it does overshadow the match. I do love how much we're getting things dovetailing. Like, we saw that with the women's picture. We get the Death Riders here as well. So AEW is doing a better job of making the show itself interconnect with each other instead of having such siloed storylines, and also not a giant umbrella storyline that everything is entirely bet on, and then if it goes wrong, they're completely screwed. Like, this seems to be a nice balance of things weaving in and out while still letting individual stories breathe a little bit.
We have Orange Cassidy backstage. He's making fun of Wheeler Yuta. Yuta and Marina join in, and as does Tony. Marina, there's a note. I missed this segment as my Max went to a commercial over it, but it says Marina admitted to sending Mina the flowers.
Yes. Tony Storm also called Orange Cassidy Citrus Man.
I mean, that's cool. That's great. I mean, I'm going to go back and watch this, but I kind of like that direction. 1916 Batman says, puppets. Thank you, Sean. Keep advocating mental health. Glad to see Alex and Kate on with Sean. Solid show. Hope you guys, I hope the Fed guys enjoy that blood money covered meat this weekend. Fuck ice and ice. It's dangerous. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. 1916 Batman. Yes.
Those are some very progressive thoughts for someone that's in 1916. I appreciate that. But yeah, this was good, Sean. It's worth checking out for a second because it was a short segment. But Marina saying, "Do you need more milk from me, or do I need to get your woman more flowers?" I thought was like a nice touch. And
that is good.
And then Tony Storm says, "You don't know what you're gonna do with me and Citrus Man," and she tangos away with him. So looks like we're getting some mixed tag action out of this, which everybody loves Orange Cassidy and Tony Storm together. Those views on social media were insane.
I'll tell you what I love together. NordVPN.com/Fightful and anything. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, PLEs, all of them are on Netflix when you get NordVPN.com/Fightful. How do you do it? You subscribe to NordVPN.com/Fightful as little as $2.88 a month. Then you change your virtual location. On what? Any device, any operating system, doesn't matter. You can put it on your router, TV, desktop, laptop, PC, smartphone, all that stuff. Then you change your virtual location to anywhere besides the US, and you can access all that content on Netflix with one account. Netflix is very chill about it. They just want your subscription. You could have also watched Saturday night's main event on YouTube of late as well, and that's just obviously, not nice move. UFC overseas still got to pay pay-per-view prices, not over here in the US. You get Paramount Plus, you're good to go. This is in addition to all their great options that they have about like scam call blockers, ad blockers, threat protection, all kinds of stuff. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee on NordVPN.com/Fightful. They make it as easy as possible. You go there, you click the choose your plan button, and all the way, I think it's from $2.91 a month up to $6.33 a month. You can get things like 1 terabyte of cloud storage. You can get password managers. You can get anti-malware and browsing protection. But on that basic tier of $291 a month, you can change that virtual location. and save yourself some money. NordVPN.com/Fightful. The presenting sponsor of the Fightful Awards. Go ahead, Kate.
I was just gonna say I can't handle Alex's shell face with the goofy ears. Like he kind of just straight up looks like Goofy. Like about him.
MJF showed up. Brody interrupts him almost immediately. And MJF says, you've been a follower your entire career. There was Malachi. Then there was Buddy, which, how's he doing? I don't actually care. And he said, by the way, loved what you all did with the lights, turning them on and off. Super creepy. And then he says, then you followed Bandito, who is a loser that I beat. MJF says it's one of the first liberal men he's seen that looks like a Nazi. And then, of which Brody laughed at. And Brody was like, you know what? I probably don't deserve a title shot, but myself and Tony Khan decided that you would be the best person to prove that I'm worthy of a title shot, and I will get a title eliminator next week. And then all of a sudden, MJF is not feeling as cute, Kate, about facing Brody King. He was very shook by this.
He should be. I mean, if I was Brody King, I would have sent Sean Dean after him because, that is MJF's kryptonite. But I really liked this promo. I know some people are not going to like the "you look like a Nazi" line. But what I've come to accept about MJF promos is there's always going to be something that everybody ends up talking about the next day. I like it like this because I don't feel like it overshadowed the rest of it. It wasn't like such a sizzling line that it took away from anything else. The turn to the lights off line, if anybody knows my fandom of Kevin Owens, they know how much I love his infamous Aleister Black promo that was 70% about the ripeness of a banana. But the other 30% about it was calling him a scaredy cat and was like, where are you filming these promos? In an attic? And what's going on here? And I love when characters like that or characters like MJF call those things out. There's certain people I feel like shouldn't. There's certain people I feel like should. MJF should. And I also really liked this because Brody King also says, I wasn't a follower. I have friends. You just don't know what those are. And I love that. Seemed like such a shot at the jugular of MJF too, because he's had his broken friendships and he doesn't trust anybody. So that was very short and effective. And I liked it as a follow-up to last week where we saw MJF ski-daddle once Brody King kind of flexed at him. So if it's not going to be Sean Dean, Brody King taking him on himself, I think is a cool call.
Alex, any thoughts about this before we get to what MJF did later on?
Yeah. I would just honestly rather you have Brody King say, okay, I'll face whoever. Who do you got? Anybody? Okay, says Max. And then next week, he makes him run a gauntlet of Josh Alexander and Shibata and some other heel. You know what I mean? I would rather watch Brody King do that than watch Max probably lose via voluntary countout and then watch Brody King, Max is like, you know what? I'm taking my title. I'm leaving. And then Brody wins. So Brody gets the match, but he doesn't. What I don't want to see is Max get pinned. Unless he's losing the title. I hate watching champions get pinned. I'm against it. So I would rather watch Brody beat an actual somebody who is not a tomato can. And then that's the way he earns the match. But I am very excited for the eventual real Brody versus Max match that I can only assume Brody will win because he will win the Eliminator next week. I love the interplay. I think this is a great way of giving Brody King a world title shot, which he deserves. And I don't think there's a shot he wins, but I want to see what they do with him afterwards.
Andrade, El Idolo defeats Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland, a top guy. Earlier he had mentioned that he had not been pinned in ages, that he wasn't the one pinned at World's End either. And he got pinned tonight by Andrade, which leads me to believe maybe this is the catalyst for something changing for Swerve. But Andrade, sometimes it takes you a few jumps back and forth before you realize where it is you really want to be or need to be. And I love him being like the ladies' man, the suave guy. Like the other day, he put his number in somebody's phone, and then you got Jasmine Allure as the extra in the audience there. I loved that. The crowd was behind Andrade as well. Swerve hitting that house call. I thought that the match was over. I was like, okay, well, Swerve's winning. But Swerve went above and beyond to make Andrade look really, really good in the biggest match since he's been back. And an immediate effort to say Andrade is a top guy in AEW. I felt like that was an effort made tonight, Alex. And the crowd seemed to love it.
Oh, yeah. Andrade's already a fan favorite again. I thought the crowd loved him the first time he was here. Like he was doing some like a lot of people will point to one of Cody's last big matches before he left AEW was the one where he set himself on fire. That was against Andrade. Andrade went through that flaming table too. Like he was out there having great matches against a bunch of people. He's really, really good and always has been. I love that he when he came back the first time, he showed up out of the blue and attacked Kenny Omega. And then, oh no, wait, somehow you're still under contract for the rest of your life. So he had to go and get that cleared up. And when he came back, it kind of looked like that wasn't part of his plan coming back. And I love that they have circled back to that match they were absolutely going to do when he came back and attacked Kenny Omega. That was the plan. And I like that they circled back to it. I also love that I'm watching this and Swerve has been mad dogging Kenny Omega now for a couple of weeks. And we know that they were always planning on doing Andrade versus Omega. So I'm watching this match, and what does this match have that so many other matches do not, that makes it so much more compelling to me? I thought there was maybe a 50-50 shot that either guy could win. Because I think there's a really cool stuff you can do with the storyline of Swerve having lost. And yet I still think Swerve is definitely facing Omega at some point anyway as well. So you just decided Andrade gets Omega first, then Swerve will get Omega later. And I love that you could have easily reversed that, and we would have gotten a reverse decision. But I love that it's Andrade because it immediately elevates him, like to a crazy degree. He's higher on the totem pole now than he ever was during his first run in AEW. And I love that MJF regards Andrade with the same kind of trepidation that he does Hangman and Swerve and Samoa Joe. It makes Andrade feel like he's a legitimate threat. This is all really excellent stuff. And like you said, Sean, I really hope this is the catalyst for something that happens with Swerve. Like what does this do to him? Because I don't want to do like, oh, well, I lost, but I'm still coming after the title. You could figure out a way to like change something about yourself after this. This was really good.
Important note from the match. Harlot Oscara says Andrade set his balls on Swerve's face for one of the pins.
Megan.
There we go.
Not wrong. Not wrong.
Yeah, accurate. But yeah, Andrade grabbed the ref's hand to distract him and hit him in the penis for the victory. Right in the penis. Tin Ruza says Swerve costs Andrade the Kid New Japan match. I mean, that's a couple weeks from now. As I'm looking, I don't think it's going to be that. If it's February 11th, then no, because Swerve is going to be working.
It's February 23rd,
AEW.
the New Beginning show?
No. Whatever Luis has mentioned is on the 11th. So if it's wrong, I'm just going to yell at Luis again for putting it wrong in the chat. But Eloquent says, I've seen enough. Put the world title on Andrade. I mean, this is an important match for the development of Andrade in this company, to be honest with you. Meat Norma says, tonight was a meat event. Swerve ate a smaller Swerve than did a million push-ups. Glad to see a new face in the title scene. Pants or trunks for Idolo. Listen, those were small trunks.
Yeah.
Like very small trunks. Trunks like that have been worn one time in the history of UFC. Dennis Hallman did it off of a lost bet, and Dana White immediately banned them. But backstage, Renee is with MJF. Kenny Omega shows up and says he's next. And MJF's like, no, goodbye. Andrade shows up and he's like, nah, buddy, I'm next. And MJF is like, no, probably not. Goodbye. And then Hangman stops him from getting into his SUV. And this is without Brody King stalking about as well.
Yeah.
MJF is finally finally all of the focus in AEW is on the championship and AEW. Or the AEW title with MJF as champion, which I think is something that we were missing his first big title run. It was like he and Adam Cole on an island of their own a lot. Yes. And now it feels like everybody is focused on getting the AEW championship, Kate.
Yeah, so I thought the match was fantastic, first of all. Like I knew it was going to be fun in ring. I do love it's almost like what they were trying to do with Los Garza there for a while, where I forget were they Los Garza when there would be like a plant who they kissed in the audience, but it feels a little more organic.
Lotharios.
Los Lotharios. There you go. But it doesn't feel manufactured. He just has this kind of suaveness about him that's really fun. I'm Team Pants. I'm with Finn Balor.
I do want to say there ain't anything about Angel that Angel is manufactured. He is the sweetest human being. He's the most. I almost learned Spanish just after meeting him once.
No,
he is a charming man.
He was the spots were manufactured, Sean. Like there would just be a woman in the audience, like, gosh,
but listen,
this tag team comes and kisses me on the cheek is a weird thing.
Just in nature, they could have found somebody. But
sure.
I did love that with Andrade, them leaning that way. But Fitzgerald says the main event scene is so exciting right now. Everyone wants a shot at MJF, Samoa Joe, Andrade, Brody King, Hangman, Swerve, Omega. Exactly. The focus of the top guys is on the top title. Yes. And this is, oh my gosh, this is why winning and losing is so important. Because then when you win or lose the championship, it feels important. And then when you're trying to climb up and get there and somebody beats you and they kick you in the penis and dick and balls to do it, you're like,
a whole package.
This makes me mad. And then when there's 5 or 6 other people vying for this top prize, it naturally creates stories underneath. But yes, Ryan, you're right.
Oh yeah, but like, did MJF serve? Is I think what we're really here to ask.
He better next week, buddy. He better leave no crumbs.
He better learn to speak Belenese.
The M in MJF, of course, stands for mother.
Mother,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Mother Jacob Friedman was serving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
Mother Jacob Friedman. Yeah. Yeah.
What I love about this is there's some heavy hitters and we don't know what order they're coming in. Alex and I talked about that last week, but what I really love about this is in the interim, we're getting Bandito, Brody King, indie appearances, and Max has only had this title for like a month, about 5 weeks, something like that. So it's been very productive considering how short of a time it's been. Because what I was worried about was this logjam at the top, because it seems to be the same 8 or 9 guys swirling around at the top for this top title. We're seeing some fresh faces get in that scene, and that I think is very important. I would love to see them do that with the other titles, like if they all had personalities or something, would be neat. Instead of oversaturated.
Dave Koss says, hey, squad, I've been down on AEW TV for quite some time now, but I really enjoyed it. The central focus of the show and the world title specifically was Paramount and Shine. That's what I'm saying. When the focus of people is on the world championship, it goes a long way. Listen, I'm not making this a WWE versus AEW thing, but I am watching Finn Balor, after not winning a singles match in over a year, get a world title match because it's geographically convenient. Then when he loses that and can't get into the Royal Rumble, he ruins a world championship match to get another world championship match. And I hate it. I hate it. It undermines the point, which is winning. And if you're going to tell me winning and losing doesn't matter, great. Then get rid of all these goddamn championship belts. Speaking of, Tin Ruza says Okada versus Takeshita for the unified belt soon, post-Revolution. I don't think you can unify belts in AEW anymore. I don't trust the concept. There was somebody in AEW that was telling me, like, yeah, I think it was a bad idea. I don't think people will trust the concept now. Plus, if you're going to unify anything, just absorb it into that gorgeous international title. For the love of God, don't get rid of that thing.
Yeah.
It's perfect. But Dave Koss also says, secondary notes, Ciampa's presentation ruled. Very happy for him. All I ask is please get Fletcher out of the TNT title and up the card. Well, I think that's the direction that we're headed, Alex. I think that this was a way to help start the move for Fletcher towards the international title.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of using that as well. I think that when you have the world title that has an opportunity for all of the top guys who aren't the champion want that title. And MJF really doesn't want to face any of these guys, but he's confident enough that he knows he can beat them by hook or by crook. Great stuff. As opposed to, hey, me and my buddy, and we all just counting down the days until one of us turns on the other one. We're going to have a ROH tag team title run in the midst of my world title run, which is going to split our focus entirely. Like, that's the reason that the first reign, 400 days of it, wasn't nearly as compelling as this reign, which has been going on for what, a month? Like, this feels like there's like, how is he going to outlast all of the other top talent all coming for him one after the other? That's a really compelling story for his title reign.
Fitzgerald says the main event scene is so, actually, we read that one already. Tin Rouge says need more Roosh as well. Also an all elite women pay-per-view. I don't think we'll see an all elite women pay-per-view anytime soon. Traditionally, those don't do as well as far as pay-per-view buys or anything, but I could see like a special of some sort.
Yeah.
Ian Simmons says, I was shocked Andrade won. So happy he's getting that push. Off topic, did anyone see Seth's reaction on First Take, possibly spoiling his Rumble return? I did, but I haven't. I want to be clear. I don't know if he's coming back, but they didn't seem to be, like, WWE did not seem to believe that he would be coming back. And if he comes back, I think he's got to win it. And I think that is just, I think that's beating a dead horse, so to speak. Loft Dante says, glad it's not November because the main event damn sure made me bust. Episode had me bricked, erected, hard, yoked up, pitching a tent, morning wood. CC
it's not even
this year
morning
with
yet.
Ciampa.
You just know it's happening. Damn.
Oh my gosh. I'm still trying to find
Perfect.
a couple of these that got missed as well. But
What about this
while I'm
one?
Yeah.
To my point about the other titles in their presentation, it would be nice if one of these top stars were interested in the international title. Since it was my point, I'll comment on it. Just making money over here. I feel like there's not a personality between all of the belts, and we don't see mobility up and we don't see mobility go the other way that often. Like, it doesn't feel like we have a lot of top stars elevating the rest of the card by holding other belts. Moxley having the Continental title now makes sense, but like, we don't get that a lot on like the international level, and I would like to see that too. I think it would make it more interesting if people went hunting for other belts, so to speak. But even one of them, like having some different rules around it or something would be neat. They all just read as so static to me.
Tom LaValle says, I love Ruckus's Ciampa theme. Phenomenal. It was really good. I believe that he had a lot of help with that one, but I mean, he's still so good. As Lupongi Vice says, Ruckus outdid himself. What's your % chance that AJ wrestles in AEW this year? Okay. AJ very interestingly noted the end of his WWE career on Monday. He has seemed like a WWE guy, quite frankly. Yeah. And I feel like when he's done, he's going to be done. And it's just me with a hunch. I don't know about like how that will necessarily work, but I just think that he's going to be done when he's done in WWE. Any thoughts, guys?
Well,
I hope not. I hope not. There's too many good guys
for a percentage, Sean. Not a run.
You know what? A percentage. I'll put a decent percentage on there.
Okay.
I'll say 30%.
I like that. I could see him using it as an excuse to go and do some work to wrap up TNA. Like I could see that being a nice way to still be kind of under the WWE umbrella adjacent. But it would be very cool if he had a one-off in New Japan, a one-off with Will Ospreay, like just to kind of wrap it up. I don't think he would have like a run, but I could see him doing like a pass the baton kind of program with Ospreay. I think that could be really fun. Of like, I created this style. You have now taken it to new heights. Here you go. Kind of thing would be sick.
Yeah.
Also, I want it. So
Jeremiah John had said, I think Takeshita beats Moxley, faces Okada to reunify the belts. If they reunify the belts, they need to never ununify them again.
Yes.
Like ever. I am so sick of it.
That part.
Oh. And then Noise says the powerhouse trade for Ciampa is extremely solid and mutually beneficial. I mean, listen, all due respect to Ciampa, I don't like. I think there was more upward motion for Powerhouse Hobbs for sure, but I think it is going to be something that works out great for both sides. I expect to see Powerhouse this weekend. That's what I think will happen. My God. 1916 Batman sent a monster super chat and says, the show is great. Thank you. Well, thank you. He says, Fightful, ITW, Sour Graps, Grapsity, keep being you. Well, 1916, I saw your chat earlier, and here's the way that I have always put it. I do not mind our team being outspoken because, quite frankly, I only hire good people. And if they're not good people, they ain't here long. And I don't want $8 from pieces of shit. And that's a thing that I made clear to Jimmy years ago. And I remember back when he was seeing some of the comments to Anna Bauert and how sexist they were. And I was like, see what I mean? And Jimmy goes, yeah, fuck them. I don't want those people. And he's backed me ever since. So if TK got a third show, bring back Todd Pettengill. That's just saying shit to be saying it at this point. Like, thanks for the super chat, but that is not happening.
WrestleLicious 2.0. That's what this.
Oh my God, that show. Can TK retain top female talent with this booking?
With WrestleLicious, he can.
No, he certainly couldn't with WrestleLicious.
Jimmy Hart's looking for work, man.
Why does everybody just try to reboot Glow all the time? It wasn't good. It was not good. The TV show about it was good. Here's the crazy thing. David McClain has rebooted WoW like 6 times, including most recently because he's like, wow, that was a hit show on Netflix. It was a hit show on Netflix and people said, look how fucking stupid this was. Can you believe it worked for a couple years? It doesn't work.
It was good in a Jeremy Lambert way.
Pardon my language. I try to not curse on this show. Anyway, N. Simmons says, I was shocked Andrade won. So happy he's getting that push. Off top, we saw that one. We read that one earlier. Let's get rid of that chat.
El Clone.
Kate, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on the SmackDown post show on Friday. You can find me behind the paywall with this fella, where I will be watching Royal Rumble and I will be planting 3 lies into my review, and Alex has to guess them. It's our most popular format. It's Sands of Blind, returning for 2 nights. But normally in rotation, you can catch me on Monday nights behind the paywall. You can catch me on Tuesdays doing the NXT show, which I did all alone yesterday, and Fridays hosting the SmackDown post show with Cresta. She makes going on at 11 o'clock at night very easy. Very lucky to have her in that spot.
Had another missed super chat. Loft, actually, if I could just freaking see it, my God. Says, honest to God, I need the War Raiders to come to AEW or back to New Japan. Thekla needs to bring her other DDT finish. So we did read the latter part of that, but I didn't address the War Raiders element of it. Listen, they are both several neck injuries in.
Yeah.
And they don't wrestle like it all either, which is kind of funny. But I hope that when they wrap up with WWE, they do get a short run. But Alex, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me usually on Tuesdays. I wasn't there yesterday because I was asleep. And talking NXT. But yeah, so this weekend, again, as Kate said, it's our most popular thing that we do, where I don't watch the Saudi shows, and then Kate does, and then she tells me what happens, but she has to mix in 3 lies. But this time it's the Royal Rumble, which means there's so many possibilities for lies. There's 0 chance that I get anything right, but watch me agonize over all of the decisions. People seem to really enjoy it. That is this weekend, people. Come and watch.
We have one more super chat as actually we have a couple. Sabrina says, serious super chat. Any chance Shuri comes back? I hope so. I mean, that's my favorite performer on the planet, among my favorite of all time. They wanted her more this summer, but the injury, the elbow ended up happening. So I think that will eventually happen, but I don't think imminently. And Tin Ruza says, is TK cooking with an ROH deal TV for this year? I would think no. He was offered the True TV time slot Friday, 10 p.m. I would think that simply having it on there would sell more Honor Club subscriptions at a $0 deal than what is out there now. But he didn't want to take that, and they ended up airing a Dynamite replay there. It would also make sense that if he were to have nailed down some sort of deal with WBD, maybe that's why Trey Miguel had to be cut outright instead of put on ROH as Jay Briscoe was. A lot of the signs are pointing to that would certainly make sense. We'll see. Guys, subscribe to FightfulSelect.com, especially for this Royal Rumble week. You guys really showed up with these super chats. We don't do a lot of 90-minute post shows, but I was told this was going to be a 2-person panel, or else maybe I wouldn't have shown up tonight. I
didn't take tonight off. I need that cashish. I took a couple of shows off. I need that moolah.
My God. Until next time, my friends.